Well, I guess seeing as how Gran Turismo's been shoved down my throat for a while, we should talk about it. So yeah, this is the new racing video game style movie directed by Neill Blomkamp, who brought you District 9. It stars the likes of David Harbour and Orlando Bloom. And this is based on the true story of a team of unlikely underdogs. And just using that word underdog should tell you what kind of movie this is. These underdogs risk it all to take on the most elite sport in the world. Essentially, this is a movie about overcoming the impossible. About how one young man, Jan Mardenborough, who is sitting in his bedroom playing Gran Turismo, just an avid gamer who loves racing. His parents don't think he has any aspirations in life. And yet here he is making the impossible possible. And I thought the young actor they got to play our main character here, Archie Madekwe, was really great. The marketing for this guy does him absolutely no favors. They portray him as an absolutely arrogant little piece of shit. But no, you go and watch this movie and you're like, damn, this kid's really likable, really sympathetic, you really get behind him. And this is a movie that I'm sure knows what its audience is. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna look at this guy and be inspired by him. And you know what? More credit to Gran Turismo for being able to do that. My favorite actor in this movie, however, was David Harbour. That guy just, like, does he even realize that the cameras are rolling? Because it never really feels like this guy's acting. You really feel like he's this washed-up has-been racer who comes in to coach these guys. Kind of like your Morris Buttermaker of the group. Like, he's so freaking entertaining. And I like all the other young people that they brought in for this Gran Turismo Academy sequence in the first act. Now, I really wish we got more of them. Because, to be fair, this movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I could have sat there with all these guys. Because all these young people come off super freaking likable. You think the movie's gonna go in one direction, like it's just basically gonna be Top Gun with race cars. But then it turns into your classic Karate Kid style underdog story, except, you know, you're sitting inside a Formula One race car instead. And I feel like the racing sequences in general are presented pretty decently. I'm not gonna lie, Neill Blomkamp as a director is someone who has a very mixed bag when it comes to a filmography. District 9 may be his best movie. Then again, do I think District 9 was worthy of a Best Picture nomination? Call it a hot take all you want. I don't think so. But I'll give credit to Blomkamp where it's due, because it really does feel like he knows what his audience is. And this definitely feels like a crowd-pleasing movie, albeit very predictable throughout the entire second half. You pretty much know every single story beat that you're going through. With how much marketing I've been seeing for this movie and how many previews are telling me that this is the greatest movie of all time, like, yeah, no, I thought the movie was at least decent. Do I think the ploy to push this movie back 2 weeks just to put in previews that, like, oh, people are just leaving the press screenings, everybody's saying this is the greatest movie ever, I can't wait to rewatch this movie over and over again. Movies are subjective, so more power to you if you absolutely love Gran Turismo. As someone who never avidly played the video games, I'm familiar with them, but I just walked out of this theater and I'm like, I just saw another Karate Kid movie, basically. Like, yes, you do have some very heartfelt performances from your main hero, from David Harbour. Orlando Bloom I definitely thought was solid in the movie. Orlando Bloom's character was basically someone to cast a doubt upon our hero from within. He's kind of like your John Hamm from Top Gun Maverick. He's a good man, but he's definitely very skeptical of what's going on, even though he's the guy who actually had this whole idea in the first place. Hell, Djimon Hounsou in this movie as the kid's father, really freaking great. Like, damn, I wanted more of him. And I'm like, you had 2 hours and 15 minutes. You could have definitely put a lot more in there, which unfortunately the runtime is kind of a double-edged sword, because I'm left here wishing for more. But at the same time, if this movie went any longer, I feel like this movie would have overstayed its welcome. But even still, close to the climax especially, there's a lot of scenes that feel incredibly rushed. The whole training montage, I think, feels incredibly rushed. It just feels like this was a movie that, like, hypocritically was postponed. But at the same time, it's like, okay, we really want to get this movie out, and we really want people to spread by word of mouth so we make sure we make enough money. Okay? I don't know, guys. This movie just felt like a gigantic commercial for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, I have a bunch of Sony products. I do own a PlayStation 4. Like, this movie's not gonna convince me to buy any more PlayStation games. Like, I could have watched a whole commercial that lasted 2 minutes instead of 2 hours, and it probably would have achieved the same purpose. So I guess what I'm getting at is, does Gran Turismo need to exist to actually pull off what it's trying to pull off? Probably not, because even though, like, not knocking this story at all, this is a super riveting story that I, honestly, with the way this movie was marketed, I didn't know anything about this true story, because it just seems so out there and so implausible that it's like, how did that even happen in real life? Lo and behold, this guy's a real dude, and he's raced over 200 races throughout his career, and you know what? That's super inspiring. But I feel like this subject matter would have worked wonders in documentary form. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if it was presented, if it showed actual race footage, instead of just presenting it like a whole biopic and dramatizing the situation, this would have worked a lot better, and it probably would have paid better homage to the story and the person that they're showcasing. So yeah, even though I walked into this theater annoyed knowing that I'm giving these guys money to see this movie just to talk about it with you guys, I can't overly say that Gran Turismo was a bad movie, because I think it's well directed for the most part, albeit with some nauseating editing choices. I think your 3 central performances are great. Djimon Hounsou gives a really great performance, super underrated, but there's a lot that they're trying to squeeze in with 2 hours and 15 minutes, and a lot of things just feel incredibly rushed. And in the grand scheme of things, I think to honor the legacy of the guy they're portraying, I think this would have worked much better as a documentary than as a biopic. I'm gonna give Gran Turismo a C+. Call me crazy for giving it that low of a grade, but that's probably as high as I can go. I don't know, I guess just because with how much commercialization this movie's gone through, like, it's kind of ham-fisted for me at this point. I've kind of just thrown it by the wayside. Let me know what you thought of Gran Turismo down in the comments section below. What's your favorite Gran Turismo game? Did you ever grow up playing them? Guys, I love discussing all new things in movies and entertainment here on the regular. Do consider becoming a subscriber and tap on that thumbs up as well. Really helps continue to grow this awesome community that we are out here. Y'all are the best, guys. Stay tuned for more videos very soon as we start a jam-packed month of September. So with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.